To say that Mike Elko is 1000% right on this might be understating it, because he's 10,000% right. Chaos and, like he said, anarchy is going to ensue in the next not the next 13 days, but in about 13 days. And what's so crazy about this is just one thing right here, and a lot of college football fans, I bet even you watching this right now, you're overlooking this. Let the games begin. Mike Elko, for those of you who don't know, that is Duke's head coach, really great head coach. He's just sent the entire college football world a warning shot. And I'm glad he's done this. I'm glad he's given us a little warning, because it's a new reality that us college football fans need to pay attention to. We're going to talk all about that in today's jam-packed video. Yes, that's right. You heard me correctly. Jam-packed video, because we have not one but two other topics to go over. And these are also some of my personal favorite topics, because we got to talk about the Heisman race and what's the newest update. And also, we got to talk about this. So, Kirk Herbstreit and Desmond Howard, they have came out and stated that a 12-1 Alabama should get into the playoff over a 13-0 undefeated Florida State. What about that? I can already smell the comment section, because I know everybody and their mama is going to be arguing about that. To give you some context on the situation, Herbstreit and Desmond Howard, they said that most recently on College Game Day Saturday. But we just haven't been able to get to it because we've been making so many other videos. Y'all know it's late November. We're pumping out the videos like crazy. There's so much crap going on. It's rival week. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited as well. But all right, Matt, blah, blah, blah. Shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get it. Where shall we start? You know what? Let's go with the Heisman race. Why not? I would say at this point in time, the Heisman race has been narrowed down to about 3 to 4 guys. But here's what their list looks like, and I'm not even going to talk about 7 through 10 because they have no shot of winning. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying they're not great football players. I'm not saying they don't deserve to go there. I'm just letting you know right now they're not going to win. If they do, well, I'll apologize later. There won't be an apology, though, because I can't emphasize this enough. 7 through 10 have no shot of winning. And I'll even say this right now. Jalen Milroe and Carson Beck, I don't care if they throw for 3,000 yards in their next 3 games or 4 games, however many they got left. They're not winning either. I love me some Jalen Milroe. He's turning on in the later half of the season. And Carson Beck, I think he deserves some Heisman love just to get there, but not going to win it. So with that being said, I believe it's more than fair to say it's a 4-man race. Michael Penix Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr., Bo Hicks, and Jaden Daniels. Me personally, and this is just me, here's my top 2. Number 1, Jaden Daniels. Number 2, Marvin Harrison Jr. That's it. Those are the 2 best players in college football to me. And I've had a lot of people tweet at me like, oh, Matt, well, Malik Neighbors for LSU and all these other wide receivers at other schools, they have way better sets than Marvin Harrison Jr. They put up better numbers, and they'll send me their stats, and yes, they are better. But here would be my counter argument to everybody saying, oh, well, there's other wide receivers with better numbers than Marvin Harrison Jr. This isn't a numbers award. This goes to the best player in college football. I don't care that, for example, if Malik Neighbors has more receiving yards and touchdowns than Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm not saying numbers don't matter. They especially matter when you're talking about the Heisman Trophy, but I'm not going to put another wide receiver ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr., at least for me. There's not too much to say about this unless Jaden Daniels goes out here and plays miserably in his next couple of games, or yeah, he's not going to the SEC Championship, my fault. His next game, he's going to win this award, plain and simple. But, and I have a really big but, here's something to pay attention to, and it might change your perspective. While Jaden Daniels is going to be sitting out during the conference championships, guys like Bo Nix, Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Penix Jr., Carson Beck, and Jalen Milroe, they're going to be playing for their conference championships. And as humans, we can deny it, but it happens. We sometimes have recency bias. So maybe if Bo Nix goes out here, or Michael Penix Jr., or whoever you got on your list, they go out here and ball out in the championship game, and Jaden Daniels isn't playing, that may persuade some of these voters. You never know, man, you never know. But let me know in the comment section who you got winning the award right now. What's your top 2 or 3 looking like? Moving along here to our second topic, we got to address this. Meant to get to this yesterday. We just didn't have enough space in the videos. And that is no other than Kirk Herbstreit and Desmond Howard stated that 12-1 Bama should get into the playoff over 13-0 Florida State. And what's really interesting about this take is they stated this before the injury to Jordan Travis. What about that? So now, at this point in time, I think Herbstreit and Howard, they feel even 10 times more confident in that statement. But check out what old Danny Cannell had to say about this on Twitter. FSU fans, don't fall for it. It's a TV show without any ACC representation. There is zero chance FSU gets left down if they are undefeated ACC champs. Just go root for the Noles and make sure they do indeed run the table. Let's check out some of these comments. All right, this one's got 37 likes. FSU is 100% being left down if undefeated Big Champ undefeated Pac-12 champ, 12-1 Texas, and 12-1 Alabama. The strength of schedule isn't close. Interesting. What do y'all think about that? Leaving out an undefeated Power 5 conference champion, that'd be something we've never seen before. But I'll be honest with you, and you're going to have your people say, oh, well, Matt's got Bama bias, man. You can't take anything he says serious. That's how it is. If you say something good about your team, it's bias. If you say something bad about your team, it's, oh, you're not a true fan. You can never win. The only thing I can strive to do on this channel is give you my 100% honest takes, and that's what I try to do. And my honest take is, and I firmly believe this, a 12-1 Bama who beats Georgia, let me emphasize that, beats the best team in the nation, and it's not even close, they should get in over undefeated Florida State. I want y'all to think about this. Florida State's best win this year is against LSU. That's it. As to where it stands right now, Alabama has 3 top 25 wins, and if they beat Georgia, that's just going to be the cherry on top. And also, I believe this right now, Alabama is a much better team than Florida State. If I had to bet my house on the game tomorrow, Alabama-Florida State, I'm taking Alabama. I'll be honest with y'all, I don't really take anything Desmond Howard says serious whatsoever. If he would have just said this, I probably wouldn't even be talking about it. But the fact Kirk Herbstreit said this has got me talking about it because I highly respect his opinion and I value it so much. I've always liked Kirk Herbstreit and all of his takes ever since I was a kid. He's my #1 guy. He's just really good at his job, at least in my humble opinion. Although I would put Bama in over Florida State. Kirk Herbstreit would put Bama in over Florida State. That doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is how the committee feels. And I'll be honest with you, right now, if I think Alabama beat Georgia, they finished 12-1, they ran the table, and Florida State also ran the table and they finished undefeated, I think the committee would put in Florida State over Alabama. I don't think they have big enough kahunas to leave out an undefeated team that did everything they're supposed to. They won every single game. They couldn't have done anything better. Can't emphasize this enough. Don't agree with it, but I think that's what the committee would do. I'm also really curious about that. Let me know in the comment section. What would you do? Who would you put in, Bama or Florida State? And what do you think the committee would do? Really interesting what y'all got to say there, but we got to get a move on to the main topic of the Man Encore. The main reason you probably, well, I don't know. You get the point. The main reason you clicked onto this video. What's going on in the college football world? So yesterday, Duke's head coach Mike Elko, who, by the way, there's some rumors swirling around that he may leave Duke to go to A&M, he stated this. Quote unquote, we're probably about 13 days away from complete anarchy in the Wild West. It's literally open free agency for all college football. I don't know that anyone is immune to what is going on in the transfer portal. It just is what it is. And you've got to put together a strategy to retain your players, and NIL is a big part of it. To say that Mike Elko is 1,000% right on this might be understating it because he's 10,000% right. Chaos and, like he said, anarchy is going to ensue in the next not the next 13 days, but in about 13 days. And what's so crazy about this is just one thing right here. And a lot of college football fans, I bet even you watching this right now, you're overlooking this. You see, 10 years ago, when you were rooting for your favorite team and you're keeping up with the recruitment process and all the new players you're getting, you just looked at high school recruits because you knew the guys you already had on your team from the previous year, they're coming back. You're like, all right, let's see what 3, 4, and 5-star recruits we're getting in this year in the new cycle. Well, now the biggest problem in college football is you don't just have to recruit kids out of high school. You got to recruit your current players not to leave. It happens everywhere. For example, my favorite team, Alabama, every single year we have about 15, 20 guys leaving the transfer portal. Granted, it's not a detrimental loss because I'd say if 15 guys leave, about 13 of those guys weren't going to play anyways, but you get my point. It's Alabama. You're not going to leave Alabama and go to a much better school. But for schools like Duke, yes, that happens because you'll have a guy, a wide receiver, running back, have a really great year. Then guess what? Alabama's calling to go after him and go get him. And that's the unfortunate part about this because you want your players to have great seasons, but you don't want to have too great of seasons because then these big schools like Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, Bama, they're going to go after them and try to get them. If Texas A&M is offering Duke's running back $2 million, well, Duke can't compete with that. It's not even fair. And you can't hate the player. You got to hate the game. I don't hate the kid for leaving Duke and taking $2 million. we would all do the same thing. Most of us would. Heck, I know I would. You don't know what that kid's situation's like. His family probably needs money, etc. The list goes on and on. I'd say 99.9% of these college football athletes, these high school athletes, and Americans in general could use an extra $2 million. And I'll give y'all an example with the Alabama basketball program. I'm a big-time Alabama basketball fan, and we had a guy we recruited out of high school, I think it was either last year or year before, and he winds up leaving us in this recent transfer cycle, and he goes to Arizona, a top 5 team. And the sad part is he would have been a starter this year for Alabama basketball, a top 15 team, and we could have used him. But he decided, you know what, I'm just going to go to Arizona because probably they'll be better, and currently it looks like they are. But getting back to this, I just love this point he's making because I don't think enough people are talking about it. It's not as simple anymore as just recruiting high school kids. You got to recruit your own players, not to leave and go elsewhere. Let's check out the comment section. I love it. Players aren't trapped for 5 years, buried on the depth chart. Learn to use the portal to your advantage. Mean teams do. And that got over 400 likes, so I assume 400 people agree with them. So that is the one side of this. And hey, I'm all for it. I'm all for the NIL and the transfer portal. I like it. I believe everybody should get one free transfer and no penalty whatsoever. But the dark side to the transfer portal, and this is a different video for a different day, is I think it said, I looked at it the other day, it's like 56% of these guys that enter the transfer portal, they don't even find a new team and a new place to go. And I don't know what the percentage was, but it was also high. When they do transfer, these same guys that transfer one time, they wind up transferring a second time. And to me, that's where I draw the line. When a guy starts transferring 2 or 3 times, I'm like, no. It wasn't the school. He's the problem. Man, these people are going at it in the comment section. These kids deserve it. The coaches slash school has been making millions off of them, and I agree. But I think a lot of people are misinterpreting what he's stating right here. He was just saying, hey, it's about to be the Wild West. It's going to get crazy. He didn't say that he wasn't a fan of it or whatnot. I'm not going to read off all these comments. You know what they say. And the only real difference now in college football, and this could be a bad or good thing depending on how you look at it, is the players now have leverage, whereas years ago they didn't. Not all these players, but probably your top 5, 6, 7 players, they're making, if they're at like a Texas A&M, Texas, they're probably making about $400,000 or $500,000 a year. And although that's not as much as the head coach, it's still a good chunk of change. We'll see what happens. I could sit up here all day and talk about this, but I think you get the point. And to be honest, to sum all this up, it's like college football is the NFL junior. Pretty much, we're the NFL JV. In 13 or 14 days, like Mike Elko stated here, we enter free agency. Players are going to transfer left and right, and they're also getting paid. So, yeah, pretty much NFL. Can't dumb it down any more than that. Let me know your thoughts down below about that.